Hello and welcome. I am Dogbert, and today I have two things we need to talk about. We're going to talk about the Secret of Defenders. I wanted to almost say Secret Avengers there, but no, it's Secret Defenders. The next arena meta. Well, maybe. We'll see. But more, I wanted to go over that and give you some ideas and thoughts and how I come up with counters and how I can figure this all out just using math of what turn order is going to be, so you have an idea of how to do this yourself. You're not so dependent on me, and this will actually help you become a better player. Now you might be wondering, why would I want to explain all this to you when I can just make videos and tell you what to do? Well, that comes into a bit of an update on what's going on with me and maybe the future of the channel. I hope this isn't my last video, but it could be. I really don't know. You see, yes, the baby is almost here. It's due any day. Now, this is a very long dream that me and my wife have had for 20 years. I'm not exactly young. You know, I'm 6 in dog years. Okay, I'm 43. Soon to be 44 also. And I'm going to be having a newborn. Not as young as I used to be, obviously. Just trying to fit everything in my schedule. You've seen that I'm not making as much videos anymore. I've been trying to get things ready for the baby. Just trying to do things before the baby comes that I may not be able to do after the baby comes. I'm really big into fishing. I love going bass fishing. Just caught a 6.34 pound, my personal best the other day over the weekend. Very happy about that. But it comes back all down to, I don't know how much time I have to devote to Marvel Strike Force, if any, after the baby comes, and much less make videos. So I have to give up the secrets and teach you how to be better players without me, in case I can't make any more. That's pretty much where we're at. On top of all this, my father's health is declining. So something we don't really talk about too much is, people don't really say, like, hey, as you get older, you get to watch your parents essentially decline and help take care of them as well. And that's just something we don't really talk about. And back on the subject of adoption, that's quite a road as well. I forgot to mention that. I think in the future, once it's all finalized, I'm going to make a video or a video series, depending on how much I talk in it, and go over just what it's really like to adopt a baby in the United States. Might be a little bit eye-opening to some people, just how much it costs, the things you have to go through, and just how hamstringed you really are. It's quite interesting. Sorry I got a bit off of Marvel Strike Force here and talk about myself, but I figure people should know what's going on if you're going to subscribe to me and watch my videos. I'm a bit controversial, you know. Yes, I'm an asshole. If you say something stupid, like, I get offended by words you say, I'm going to say those words to offend you more. If I have not offended you at all, please let me know how I can. I want to make sure I offend everybody. Anyway, now back on to Secret Defenders and how to figure this all out. Well, unfortunately, as I'm making this video, we don't know what the Secret Defender speeds actually are, and that is actually going to be key in figuring things out. So why is that important? Well, essentially, a speed bar essentially fills up to about 1,000. Whatever your speed is, that's how many you get per tick. So one tick goes away, you have 100 speed. It's going to take 10 ticks total to get to 1,000, roughly. But if somebody has 105, they're obviously going to get there a little bit quicker than you and go before you, etc. So those are things of how you can figure out how somebody goes first. But you also have like speed bar fill. So when you see a percent of speed bar fill, like 10%, it's worth roughly 100 speed right off the bat, give or take. Just to give you an idea. So first, as we look at Secret Defenders, we're looking at Black Cat. We don't know what her speed is. That her basic's kind of interesting, that it's reducing speed. Essentially, she's stealing 5% speed bar from whatever her target is and giving it to herself, which is interesting. That's different. She's applying slow and 2 bleed on top of that. The other thing to keep in mind is buffs. If somebody has slow, they are 50% slower. In other words, if you had 100 speed, you're now down to 50 speed. If you get speed up, though, you're 50% faster. So if you had 100 speed, you're now at 150 speed. So keep those things in mind. If she's low in health, she gets to gain stealth and gains charge. Enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived. You're going to see that the designer of this team is very different than the one who designed Apocalypse and Darkhold. This one actually had put some thought into it. Has taken me into account and all the things I've done to screw them over in the past. This is attack cannot be revived is essentially anti-Dormammu. They've been very hard on Dormammu lately. They don't want him in the arena meta at all. I don't think he's coming back right now anyway. So I'm not really worried about that. ISO 8 counter, which is nice, which is actually kind of interesting that on arena offense, the counter attack assist ignores defense up. Not bad. Now the specialist is going to be her first move. Everybody's sticking on this. It applies trauma, bleed, disrupt it, and stun. Oh, this will take care of Apocalypse. You got to remember, you got to get that immunity off Apocalypse in order to do that first. Yes, she can clear 3 positive effects, but we don't know what her focus is. Will she be strong enough to take that immunity off of Apocalypse? Because if it doesn't, that trauma and disrupt and stun isn't landing. That's the other thing you got to remember about these Secret Defenders and what they are going to be trying to conquer. You're going to need to build these guys up very high. I'm talking level 95. You'll probably only be able to take them to gear 16. Obviously, somebody like a Black Cat, you're going to want to take to gear 17 and eventually gear 18. But you're not going to have all the stars like we have built out for all the Horsemen and Apocalypse. You're not going to have all the gear in them, all the ISO Blue 4, ISO Blue 5. So keep these things in mind that this is not just throw gear 14, gear 15 on them and call it a day, level 80 or even 85. No, you're going to have to build these Secret Defenders up to their maximum in order to make sure you can actually take down the Horsemen in Apocalypse. That's if you're not using a hybrid. More on that later. So she gets to apply 2 charge to herself and secret all Secret Defender allies. She gets 10% speed bar. She's going to attack for 300% piercing, which is, and the other thing that's interesting, she clears charged off of a target. This is an anti-Red Hulk. Don't know how much it's going to be. She also is reducing speed bar by 10% as well. Pretty nuts. Now the ultimate we're not going to be really getting to very quickly. Obviously it's a 5/7. But it would clear. Now, if we had some way to give her ability energy and clear, guaranteeing clear immunity and stuff, this could come into more of a, more of a theory crafting thing. Again, she's reducing speed bar, attacking for a lot. If the primary target has safeguard, she gains safeguard. That's the other thing you're going to see with these Secret Defenders. There's a lot of safeguard after spawn. This is an anti-apocalypse mechanic. This is to get around Apocalypse, essentially, to actually allow them to have safeguard. As you'll see, that Apocalypse on spawn's ability really is not going to matter once we get into this team more. Once she gets the Awaken, she can actually apply Blind to the primary target and 1 random Spider-Verse enemy, which I thought was interesting. Might be trying to keep Weaver out of it or something. Or maybe there's something else that was coming down the line that we don't know about. Or it could just be because, she's a Spider-Verse character. Who knows? Now the passive is interesting. On spawn, she gets 3 charge, 9 death proof, and immunity. Now that death proof doesn't mean anything, though, if a big boy Apocalypse comes and hits her with his empower and kills her. because it doesn't care about that. In Arena, she's going to apply Safeguard to self and all Secret Defenders. That's on Spawn. The way you stop that, of course, is bring Apocalypse, but it really doesn't matter, as we'll see when we get to Ms. Marvel. If any had revive once, gain revive once. Plus, she's going to clear all the revive ones off of you. So more or less, if you bring Dormammu, you're just giving them revive once. Like I said, they are very hard. They want to keep Dormammu out. Now, on top of this, she's going to give herself 30% speed bar. She's actually going to be going second. If you watch the strike time, you see that she does go second. There is a character faster, and that's Ms. Marvel, who I think is going to be very important. What's interesting here is while she has death-proof, all her and the Secret Defender allies cannot have their speed bar reduced. This is an anti-Eternals mechanic. The reason why the Eternals are so goddamn powerful, it was their constant speed bar rewind that they were doing. And they weren't doing just a little, they were doing like 25% each. And when they go back to back, you're knocking out like 50%. For each death proof, she gets more armor, counterattack, focus, resistance. She gives her and her team extra health. They're actually going to have quite a bit of health, so I'm wondering if their base health is going to be pretty low. On Arena Offense, if you get her Awakened ability, enemies can't spawn with death proof, and lowers damage reduction of all enemies that do not have death proof by 15%. Very interesting character. I foresee her being used in Dark Dimension 6, obviously, being a skill character. She is a city character, but it doesn't really matter because she's legendary. So let's move on now, as we talked about all this, look at the rest of the team. Okay, so moving on, we're looking at Photon, Hero, Cosmic, Bio, Blaster. Not too sure about her yet. Does a bunch of damage, but she also has that 5% of target max health with just the basic. I think this alone puts her into Dark Dimension 6 category, because we know that taking max health percentage-wise is quite huge, especially when you're talking about Dark Dimension characters. I think this becomes a no-brainer to take to Dark Dimension just because of this ability alone. Her special is not much to it. It applies blind and slow, clears all deflects and minor deflects, and does some damage. It's interesting that it applies blind and slow to not only the primary target, but also the adjacent targets. But from what we've seen in the video, she seems a little bit slower, so we'll have to see if that can really be effective or not. This attack also gains 1,000 extra % focus, can't be blocked. We'll have to see how this all plays out. Her ultimate, again, if we had some more energy, maybe this would actually matter. I don't know how much it's really going to matter. 50% damage to all enemies, plus offense down, defense up, and speed up, which could be quite nasty. Well, we'll have to wait and see. On Spawn, she gets the charge. If you let these characters get charged, they get more stuff. She attacks. What's interesting is she has 5 or more charge, so we don't really want to let her get charged. This could open up the door to a Quicksilver, or maybe even Silver Surfer coming back, because maybe we need to remove charge, but I doubt that. We'll see Silver Surfer. We're more likely to see Quicksilver come back, if there's any theory crafting with that. The speed of this character and Secret Defender can only be reduced by slow. This is anti-Emma, obviously. Kind of like Apocalypse. But maybe you want to bring Apocalypse in on this team, because, well, I'll be honest with you, OG Strange rework is absolute shit. In Arena, she's giving them extra damage, which is always nice. In War Offense, she does some stuff. She's really not that impressive. This would probably be the second character I would remove. I definitely would want to keep Ms. Marvel, and Black Cat will be number 1 and number 2. Now, Ms. Marvel, Hard Light, this is a character we might want to be going a little bit harder on, get some more stars on. She is the tank. I think we can see people going and bringing her into DD6 City, because she is a Mutant City character, and we're going to want her built up anyway for Arena. I think she's very important. And it's not really so much about what the basic does. That's just giving her barrier. Now she gets to use her ultimate turn 1, which is interesting. This ultimate is very interesting. Attacks primary and adjacent targets for 500% damage, plus reduces speed bar by 30%. On top of this, she flips taunt to defense down on all enemies. So some of the ways I could see maybe you can try to control her would be a pre-taunt tank on an end with another character next to him who's going to lose speed bar, but maybe you don't care about that character as much, or that character can take a little bit of a beating and get speed bar back, and maybe spell their doom, if you know what I'm talking about. On arena defense, though, this is the first time we've ever had a call out for arena defense that she's going to attack the enemy with the highest speed, ignoring taunt, and adjacent targets for 500% damage. So on this case, this would be when you're on offense, you'd want to put the character with the highest speed on an end next to somebody you don't mind taking a bunch of damage and reducing speed bar. Maybe spell their doom again. She's going to gain taunt. She's going to bury herself. She's going to bury the team. She's going to clear any negative effects. There shouldn't really be any on the first turn. She's going to apply defense up, which is going to make this team even harder to kill. And here's the big thing, because like I said, she's going to be going first, which you'll see in her passive. She's going to apply safeguard to the team. Whether or not we can find a counter that makes somebody faster than her to stun her or ability block turn 1 remains to be seen, because we don't know exactly her speed. Now she can do also the special, which just clears positive effects, does some damage, gives her taunt, gives some barrier, clears some random, not much. But again, if you even choose to do this on the first turn instead, you're getting safeguard as well. Now, the real speed in her comes down to her passive right here. Fills speed bar by 10%, plus 10% for each secret defender ally. This means you could be starting with 50% speed bar on spawn. That is ridiculously fast. That's essentially like an extra 500 speed, roughly. So we'll have to keep this into account. Can we outspeed her? We'll have to wait and see. She's applying defense up automatically. She's giving them barrier automatically. Very insane. She gives them extra health in arena, another 50% max health. So I'm kind of wondering if their base health is going to be pretty low. We'll find out with the patch. Ghost Rider Robbie, City Mystic Blaster. People will probably just bring him in. Again, another character that we are probably going to build up a lot anyway, so I'll also bring him in. Again, he starts with the special. You're getting 500% extra focus for the attack because he is clearing positive effects. It's nice that they're giving us this extra focus, so we should be able to put like Striker or Raider or whatever on these characters. I haven't really thought about it yet. We won't need Skirmisher. He doesn't really hit much on the primary target at first. He hits 150% plus he applies an ability block, but he also has a secondary attack. So in reality, he's really hitting for, 430%? Plus he's hitting the adjacent targets then, giving them heal blocks, slowing defense down. He seemed kind of slow in the video, so we'll see let's see what he's really like. Helldrift, this is more of a late attack from what we saw. This does a bunch of damage, does give him drain, so it would allow him to heal up a little bit. Again, he gets that extra focus, so something tells me his focus is going to look low. We'll be thinking Skirmisher at first, but in reality, we probably won't need it. Unavoidable, can't be blocked. His attacks, looks like everything but the basic is unavoidable. I think this is more anti-Spider Weaver. Will Spider Weaver come back? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. It would be nice if we get Spider Weaver sped up, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. He's giving the secret defenders the focus they need, 100% focus. Tells me this is probably going to be a lower focus team. When bleed is applied to an enemy, he fills speed bar by 10%, so he might be somebody we pair up with somebody who applies some bleeds. Maybe we replace somebody like Photon or something, get some bleeds out there so he gets sped up quicker. Maybe they just put enough bleeds out. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see how this really feels and works. And finally, we come to Doctor Strange. This is just such a bad rework. I know people are like, oh, he does a little bit more damage up here. And like, oh, look, he flips buffs. Well, if you haven't been paying attention, this team's going to have goddamn Safeguard all over the place. If you're going against an Apocalypse and 4 Horsemen, he's probably going to put Safeguard on them. So what buffs are you really flipping? Makes this kind of useless. Reviving everybody, clearing negative effects. This is really the Scarlet Witch of the team. The Phantom X, this is the turret of the team. I do not see Doctor Strange being worth really building up at this time. I mean, by the time he gets to his turn, I could see him very easily replaced with Apocalypse or somebody else that we need to speed up the team or do something different for a mirror match. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but you know, I see a lot. I see maybe a possibility of using Quicksilver. I see possibility of using Doom. I absolutely positively see Apocalypse remaining in the arena meta. I do see a character maybe like a Red Hulk maybe dropping out. I could see some room for Morgan because we do have a couple, we do have a Mystic. If they use 2 Mystics, we could be speeding up Morgan enough to maybe get something out there and do some damage. Maybe not. Maybe some other character comes back like Spider-Weaver. Maybe Spider-Weaver comes back. But I think that would be one of those things that brings back Apocalypse because Minute Apocalypse is there to help negate her charges. So those are just some of the things I think about these when I'm thinking about this. You know, what could do, what we could bring out. Will we see Nick Fury with his speed up and putting out those minions? Is he fast enough to stop Ms. Marvel? Maybe then she's forced to hit those minions and reduce the speed bar. Maybe screw it up a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of things that we need to look and see, but don't forget you'll need to build this team up quite a bit. And hopefully this isn't my last video. Until next time, everybody.